Alrighty. It's work time, everybody. Let's get it going. Before we begin, what I'm assuming most of you are very curious about, don't forget to like the video if you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Also, link is down below to the merch. Go get some merch. So I'm sure a lot of you are interested in this video title. I'm assuming I'll have a different name for it when I actually post it, but at the moment it's, well, wherever I put the paper. How soon should you upgrade? Now, this has mostly to do with your computer components, not the software, because software, theoretically, you should update as much as you can. So those bits of software aren't updating. Upgrading PC components isn't an easy choice, especially now with how everything is right now. Pricing for most things is making it very difficult to upgrade. Now, those that need to upgrade basically know who they are. They're the ones that are having a really tough time playing games they like playing. Now, this is relative. So we're going to go off of what the lowest requirement is and say that's probably about when you should start looking at upgrading. So let's just hop over to the lowest requirement for a current game. Let's start with Tiny Tina's Wonderland. Here it is. So I'm getting this off Steam, so let's just keep this in mind. I'm not sure how accurate these are, but I'm pretty sure they're decently accurate. So currently, the minimum would be an AMD FX 8350, which I have not heard of, and then an Intel i5 3570, 6 gigs of RAM, an AMD RX 470, or an NVIDIA GTX 960. So let's see how long those were before they came out. Let's go with the AMD, because I've not heard of that one. i5 is 7 generations ago, so I'm assuming it's about that much. 2012. Is it the same story for the RX 470? 2016. So graphics cards apparently need to be replaced more often, at least in the sense of requirements. Processors can last a little longer. Now, this is also kind of the minimum of what you can run this on. You can run it recommended on an Ryzen 5 2600. That's 2 gens ago. And that's the minimum to get decent length. Minimum requirements generally means you're not running at a good frame rate or good quality. And it's also recommending a 1060. So if you have a 1060, I'd say keep rocking that for another year or two. And if you can, whatever comes out that year, grab the previous generation, because it theoretically should be a little cheaper. So currently, if you need to upgrade, which the RX 70, what came out before the RX 470? Well, let me think here. Came out in 2016. So if you're rocking a Radeon R9 290, or any of the 200 series, or any of the GeForce 700 and probably 900 series, you're probably looking to get an upgrade here soon. Now, this is just me kind of guessing a little bit just on what I understand from this. Let's go to another game that's relatively not as new, but closer. Now, there's a reason I'm choosing Tiny Tina Wonderland also. It's not specifically... It doesn't target AMD or Intel or even NVIDIA on how it hits the computer. It just hits the computer as hard as it can. Trust me, I know. All right. We'll go with another one that's in the same franchise, Borderlands 3. How similar? This one's calling for a 680 for the minimum requirements. I wonder how many people are actually still running a 680. You know what? Steam does a survey for their users to see what people are using. Let's see. And you know what? This is actually very entertaining to me. The most common card and most popular one used is a 1060. It means most of you guys should be pretty okay, kind of, in terms of upgradability for how long you need to wait a little bit. I would say probably a couple of years. I'm guessing here. It kind of depends on how far tech advances throughout the years, and it sometimes can be very drastic. It doesn't give me an actual common CPU, but that's okay. Let's go to the graphics cards real quick here. Okay, so right after that, it's 1650. All right, that makes sense. 1050 Ti, 2060. So what I have in here is a 3070 Ti. Where am I? I'm assuming towards the bottom. So I'd say if you're rocking a 20 series or even a 10 series, you're probably okay. The 10 series, I would say probably upgrade to a 2000 series or a 3000 series next year or so. If you're running a 2000 series, you've got a few years. I would probably say closer to 4 or 5. And it's all depending upon how well you take care of it and how far the tech advances as we go. And also if you don't upgrade something else in your setup, like for, say, your monitors. Running 4K on a 2060 probably won't go well if you're already hitting it pretty hard in games. I remember my 2060 was running at very hot. I can't remember the actual temperatures, but it ran hot when I played Borderlands 3. And I had a lot of fans on it. I would say, though, get a 2060 Super if you can, or a 2070. Because that is like a sweet spot in the 20 series. For 30 series, I'd say 3060 Ti or a 3070 at the very most is what most people need. I would not say most people need a 3090. If you have a 3090, it's because you're doing something that most people aren't. For instance, streaming with a high quality game going on. You have to have like ray tracing going out the butt. It doesn't surprise me. Most people have over a terabyte of storage for their computers. By the way, it's not even close. It's 50%. Everybody else is all just completely different. Nobody has less than 10 gigs for a hard drive for their total space. Now, how free storage they have is probably different. Yep. The most someone has is 100 to 250 gigs open. That doesn't surprise me. Most people now are currently probably still getting pre-builts. What very much surprised me is a lot of people are getting on Steam with MacBook Pros, apparently. And then it looks like 30, still say 60%, because I'm going to add these two, use a 4-core or a 6-core CPU. Very few use a 2-core, and that's because generally the 2 cores are having a hard time. I would say if you have a 2-core, probably next year or two might want to upgrade if you can afford it. I don't know when the last 2-core CPU was, and it might be a platform change, not from like from AM3 to AM4. Not saying that's what the 2-core was on, just saying it's what you're changing to and from. Here we are. I will say it doesn't surprise me at all that most of the world, at least currently, are using Intel for their CPUs. It's over 60%. Currently it's 67.19. It is down from last year, though. And it is continuing to go down. They are switching to AMD. Now, this is partly to a couple of reasons. AMD just significantly just punching Intel in the guts and truly trying to catch back up to them. Intel still got some life in it, and it certainly still has a chance to keep in the lead. It just all depends on how it goes come, well, this next round of CPUs coming out. AMD coming out with their new CPUs that will be compatible with DDR5, as well as a new platform for their CPUs. Same with Intel. They're going to come out with their second gen CPUs that are workable with DDR5, which should mean extremely better capabilities of working with DDR5. I don't know how Microsoft is working on this currently, considering all the big snafu they had with AMD on how their chips worked with Windows 11. Hopefully that's fixed by now. Last I heard, it was kind of fixed. If you want to hear more on that, leave a comment down below and I can do a video on that, because that was hilarious on some level to me. Now let's do an older game. Let's see where it says it should go. Now, I'm not going to say too older. We're going to go community recommendations, because those are always interesting. Alrighty, another one here. It's a little bit of an older one. Little bit. I keep on looking over at my screen when I should look at my camera. That's a newbie mistake. It's Wolfenstein: The New Order. Okay. They require i7 or AMD equivalent, a GeForce 460, and that's a longer name, ATI Radeon HD 6850 for the minimum. Now, they're not really saying much on the recommended specs. They're just talking about the minimum, which to me is interesting. Now, this game came out, it was a few years ago. In 2014. 8 years ago. The requirements changed a little bit. Not much. Not much at all. From New Order to Borderlands 3. Now remember, Wolfenstein was 460. Borderlands 3 is the minimum of a 680. So that's 2 generations, I think. Usually they go by a 4, 5, and 6. Sometimes they skip it, like with the 10 series went to the 2000 series. With squeaking in the 16,000 series. I was really confused when I was learning all that. So I want to say like 6 years of a difference there between the Borderlands 3 and Wolfenstein. So pretty good. 5 years. Close. I would say that's perfect. I would say if you're scraping the barrel and you're at the minimum requirements, please do me the favor and look into upgrading. Don't get the best if you can't afford it. If you can't afford it, get the one below it. Get not the 3000 series, get the 2000 series. Next year comes the 4000 series, so 3000 series will be a lot on the secondhand market because people are dumb and are going to want to upgrade each year. Also a good chance to get more 2000 series because people are dumb and want to upgrade every 2 years. If you're wanting to scrape the barrel and be at the bottom for a year or so, 5 years is probably okay to upgrade. I would say though, recommending as me and somebody who doesn't like having problems with the things I enjoy, because I almost turned my computer off. This is something that makes me happy. It helps calm myself a little bit when I play games. 4 years. It's a good medium between 6 years and 2 years. If you can afford to upgrade it every year, every 2 years, and you want to do it, it's your money. Don't listen to me. It just means you're going to have less to do other things with it. And that's all on you. Just don't put your family on the streets because you wanted a new graphics card. CPUs are a little harder. They seem to go a little bit longer when it comes to this. Probably stay around that 5-year mark. And most likely then that also means you need to get a new motherboard. Because generally you can get about 3-4 generations out of a motherboard. But your mileage could vary a little bit on that. Well, everybody, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like the video if you liked the video and subscribe to the channel. Also, don't forget, link is down below to the merch store. Go get some merch. If you guys enjoyed this video, go check out the other PC basic videos I have. It's all in a little playlist for you guys. Watch through those, get some ideas, and learn more about PCs. It's really helpful in the long run for things. Especially if you have to go and ask if your parents come around and ask you to do some upgrades in their computers. It's going to happen. Always will. Well, guys, thank you again for tuning in and have a good day.